Cool. Would you like me to present the argument? You want to do opening statements? Like,
I'm just
Wait,
gonna be
wait,
a
wait.
skeptic.
Hold on.
you're
Can
just
I
going to be a
pronounce this in
skeptic?
a couple of places?
Yeah, sure, that's fine.
Okay.
I'll just
Oh yeah,
get
and
the
what's as a
argument.
judge? Forgot to say that. But
You said what?
oh yeah, I mean you already know actually. I
Yeah, what?
posted your syllogism in Scans chat.
Yeah,
You're
what
using the
you have to-
Aristotelian argument for God, right?
Yeah, the Aristotelian argument for God as presented in Edward Faze's book.
Yeah. Okay. You want to go ahead and present the argument?
Uh, the syllogism is in.
Wait, I'm just gonna be a skeptic, just to clarify. But you can go ahead and present the argument.
So, skeptic is in like agnostic skeptic, atheist skeptic. Like, what's your position actually?
I'm just gonna be a skeptic. I'm not. Yeah, agnostic skeptic is the word. I'm not firming any position here. I'm just gonna be a skeptic.
Okay, so well, the syllogism is going to be in chat. If you have any issues with any of the premises immediately, you can let me know.
You could just go ahead and present the way you interpret the argument.
Okay, that's fine. So the argument is just as follows. So change is obviously going to be a real feature of the world, right? The evidence is just going to be everything that we perceive, even our mental experiences as well. So, for example, you walk into a room, there's a cup of steaming coffee on the table. That coffee gradually becomes cold, right? You go and sit down, you try to drink it, disgusting, you throw it away. These are all examples of like progression.
No, I get what you're trying to say. You're pretty much trying to argue for a deduction, right? You're trying to state that change is a feature of the world, right? And then you pretty much try to state that any change given C presupposes some concurrent actualizer in that context, which would be A in this context. So A is going to be the reason for this C existing or this change existing. And any given change presupposes a actualizer in that context for this change. That's your argument, right? And then you're pretty much trying to use this, and you're trying to state that an infinite regression would be pretty much impossible because an infinite regression obviously is not parsimonious, or that's the argument you're attempting to use. And then you pretty much reach the conclusion that a purely actualizer like has to necessarily follow.
So not necessarily. Obviously, change.
It's a deduction. The Aristotelian argument for God is a deduction.
Yeah,
the conclusion necessarily follows.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, so it's necessary.
Sonic, you just said something that isn't correct, so I'd like to correct you. So I do agree with the first. Yeah,
okay. Yeah, go ahead.
So I do agree with the first bit you said, right? Obviously, change is going to require an actualizer that is obviously actual, right? I do agree with that bit. You then went on to say that infinite regress is going to be impossible. I don't deny that infinite regress could exist. I don't even think it's necessarily problematic with the syllogism I presented. I think an infinite regress doesn't affect any of the premises or their validity at all.
Oh my god. Okay, so an infinite regression does actually kind of contest it, because if you were to agree that infinite regress could exist, which is going to be the alternative to this context, obviously, since I already told you this is a deduction, it means the conclusion necessarily follows. If it is the case, there's going to be some possible alternative. It literally defeats the whole entire point of the syllogism.
No. So an infinite regress is only. Well, first let's define what we mean by infinite regress. So you talk about.
It's very simple, bro. It's very simple, bro.
I don't want to.
Okay, you define it. I'm not defining shit.
Yeah. So infinite regress can either be understood in regards to a potential infinite, so something that continuously extends but doesn't actually have an actual infinite number of set or subsets, or it can be understood in the context of like an actually infinite thing. So something that has no beginning or no end, right? And I think regardless of the definition.
No. The latter thing you just proposed is just what infinite is, right? Something that's never ending, never beginning, right? It's like a infinite timeline, for example, right? But an infinite regress is just going to be in a reference towards, and this is usually the argument that's proposed. People argue that God, for example, why can't God just be caused, right? It just seems like you're special pleading because why exactly does God have to be the actualizer in this context? And the argument that the person usually proposes is that God in this context would have to, God in this context could just be the case. He's not an actual actualizer that does not have this, he's not like some uncaused agential being. And it could be the case that God could have been caused, and so on and so forth. That's usually how the argument goes for an infinite regress. That's just what it means in context to God's existence.
Wait, so you made 2 points. You made the special.
No, I did it.
Wait, hold on, Sonic. I'm not.
It wasn't a point.
Hold on, Sonic.
Okay, whatever.
Wait. Yeah, so you talked about an infinite regress point, and you also talked about the like idea of special pleading. Which one would you like for me to respond to first? Because I'm not gonna discuss 2 points simultaneously. I think this is very complex.
You're retarded. That wasn't a point, but okay.
Okay, that's fine then. So
let me clarify. Let me clarify for you before you start chatting again. I'll clarify for you before you start chatting again.
There was no points.
Brody, Brody, I'm gonna clarify for you so you don't just start chatting. I told you how infinite regress is usually defined in context. And I told you that the argument that an atheist is typically going to use is that they're going to say it seems as if you're special pleading, as in you're presenting these particular properties for God, so your argument seems to follow. But in context, it appears to be special pleading. This is not my point, but I'm just telling you this is why they proposed the idea that God himself doesn't have to be some uncaused agential being, and instead, why can't he just be caused, which obviously leads to infinite regress, because that God prior to him, or let's put it like this, like, right, SAB. S in this context would have to be caused in, because if we were to define S in this context to be some sort of uncaused agential being, it appears to be special pleading, and then so on and so forth, right? Which is usually the argument for why, or well, not an argument, but it's usually how people use the word infinite regress in context to God's existence. So I'm just telling you what I mean by infinite regress.
Yeah. So obviously, I know what you mean by infinite regress, but like just to clarify, infinite regresses don't necessarily have to be actually infinite. You can have an infinite regress in regards.
I never made that claim.
Wait, hold on.
Why are you chatting? What the fuck?
Wait, Sxnic, I'm just clarifying before we talk about whether it has an issue with the argument or not. So they don't have to actually be infinite. An infinite regress could be in regards to epistemology.
Oh, you're fucking chatting, bro.
Premise. But aside from that, should you explain why an infinite regress opposes it? Yeah, can you explain? Sorry, I'm not going to do this thing where we cut each other off. It's boring.
Okay, yeah, sure. Continue. So, bro, because you're literally fucking chatting, bro.
Yeah, so, okay, that's fine.
I never said it was actually infinite. You're addressing a not.
Wait, hold on.
You're non-existent argument.
Wait. So
just said why it appears to be infinite.
Can you say this one more time for the audience? You said that you did not claim that it's actually infinite.
No, but it proposes an infinite issue.
Yeah, but infinity can be understood in terms of potentiality and actuality.
Let me put it better for you. An indefinite issue.
An indefinite, yeah, that's not gonna clarify anything. Does it have a beginning?
Okay, no, okay, bro. Okay, I'm gonna write it out for you. Okay, and I'm gonna say it one last time. Maybe the judge can clarify. Maybe the judge can. Wait, maybe you asked me for clarification. Stop fucking interrupting me. And I'm gonna say this one last time. Maybe the judge could also clarify.
Oh my God. Okay, bro.
I told you, and I'm gonna give you the variables. Let's say there's S, A, and B. Okay. Now let's say A in this context is going to be a agential uncaused being. Now, in context to what an atheist would argue is that they would say, why are you assigning these properties to this being who you deem God? Why can't it be the case that this person is also caused? And then if it were to follow that this appears to be special pleading on the theistic or deistic person's end, they are going to say, okay, okay, and they will maybe propose the idea, okay, well, S could be the agential uncaused being. And then they're again going to say, well, it seems like you're assigning properties to help better your argument. Why can't S in this context just not be an agential uncaused being? So that's the whole entire thing that I'm proposing here, right? That's what I mean by an infinite regress. It's going to be an indefinite issue we're finding here, where one person seems to just be adding properties or assigning properties to whoever they find as God in order to better their argument or to make their argument seem more cohesive, even though it would just be special pleading in that context. Now, what a theist would usually argue is that in that context... Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't want to hear what a theist would usually argue, so I'll just explain why the idea of an infinite regress does not contradict this argument. So an infinite regress is just going to be something that continuously extends into infinity, or even if it's actually infinite, it doesn't matter. So all this argument is saying is that the existence of things that have potentialities imply that something has to be actively actualizing them. And so at any given moment in time, right, in order for the series to exist, there needs to be something that grounds and actualizes all of these potentialities. Now, let's entertain the atheistic position. Let's say that the first member of this series of, dependent beings or potential beings is going to also be a potential being, right? And let's just wait, hold on. Let's just pause.
There's a precept in your argument, but whatever.
Yeah, you can talk. You can enlighten me to it afterwards. But let's just say the first member of this series is going to be a potential being. This does not solve the issue, because this potential being, right, cannot ground every other existence if its existence itself is going to be in question. So the reason as to why we assign actus purus to a being is going to be because there needs to be something that grounds and sustains all existence at any particular moment in time. It does not involve progression. It does not involve infinite regress or any like recursive causal principles. But go ahead.
Okay. So there's one random presupposition argument. The random presupposition that you're making is that the universe in this context, it being the concurrent of change and the actualization for change, right? Which is why the premises laid out make the claim that if there's going to be C, which is change, then it presupposes the existence of some concurrent S, which is going to be the actualizer for this change. Now, in context to God, what I'm going to say is very simple. I think there are other qualifiers for the existence of the universe that don't necessarily have to follow your conclusion. And what I told you is that the reason I do think and something or the idea of an infinite regression, because usually the idea of an infinite regression is just an alternative people propose in order to see a logical contradiction with it. You just telling me that this has to occur is not an actual fucking argument, right? And that's why I'm telling you that it's just a random precept that you're making. Now, would you want me to give you the other qualifiers for the universe? I can give you other qualifiers that are completely fine, and if anything, it would be your burden to provide a contradiction.
Yeah. Go right ahead.
Okay. So the universe could just be a brute fact. The existence of the universe could just be a brute fact.
Do you want to go ahead and define what brute fact is, or should I define it for you?
I said the existence. Let's not get it twisted. So a brute fact is just gonna be something existing. But for why its existence is going to have no explanatory power whatsoever.
Okay, that's fine. So essentially, under like any view, would you agree that a cause is going to be an explanation? So, like for example, if I cause somebody's death, I'd be the explanation. Wait, hold on, I want to finish.
Bro, you don't have to explain cause and effect. Please don't be autistic.
So
you don't have to
okay,
explain cause and effect for me. This is like
it's a leading. Yeah,
like what the fuck? This is like second grade knowledge.
Sonic. So I'm not gonna do the shouting thing with you. You told me you wouldn't spag in DMs. I'm not gonna sit here. So anyways,
bro, because you're chatting, bro. I know what cause and effect is. You're gonna say everything.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay, fine. Just go ahead and chat.
All I'm asking you is, it's a leading question because I want to build off of this. Okay, so what I'm going to ask you is, would a cause suffice as an explanation? Yes or no?
Would a cause suffice as an explanation? As in something that exists has a cause?
No. As in, would a cause suffice as an explanation? As in, if a cause,
would it be self-sufficient? Would it be self-sufficient?
No. If X causes Y, would you agree that X is the explanation for Y?
That's the original thing that I said that you said no to. Would X be the explanation? Okay, yeah, because you're autistic. Would X be the explanation for Y? I do agree. To some extent, we usually do observe that causes have explanations for its existence, as in there is some precedent there, and that's obvious. And the latter is going to be the antecedent. So yes, I do acknowledge that to some extent.
Yeah. To some extent. So you'd agree that a cause is an explanation?
No.
No, I answered the question.
I just wanted to yes or no. I think you said that I agree in some extents.
No.
You can agree to your knowledge now.
I answered your question.
Yeah, was it a yes or no? Sorry.
I answered your question. Okay, I don't have to answer yes or no. I already answered the question.
Okay, that's
well, you can repeat it for him. I don't really care.
Yeah. So no, it's fine. You don't have to right. You don't have to right now. So obviously, if he agrees that X is going to suffice as an explanation for Y, because when we say the word explanation, we're just talking about why something occurs, why an event occurs, right? X is going to explain why this event occurs, as in why exists, and so X is going to suffice as an explanation.
You're not making a refutation.
And if it's the case that X suffices as an explanation for Y because it's a cause, then to assert a brute fact is to say that a brute fact has no causal explanation. And to assert that has no causal explanation is obviously going to be a contradiction, because nothingness, as to assert that something comes from nothing.
Whoa. There's already an issue. There's a fundamental issue with the argument. No, you're conflating two things. So nothingness in context is going to be the absence of properties, right? Nothingness in this context, obviously nothing can be derived from something. Something cannot be derived from nothing, because obviously going to be a contradiction. Now, in context to what I just said, which is that the universe could just be a brute fact, I am not stating that it could appear or come from nothing. I am just simply stating that it could just exist with no explanatory power for why exactly it exists. So no, those are two very blatant contradictions, right? In the context of something arising from nothing, that's an inherent contradiction that cannot occur. But in context of something just existing with no explanatory power for why it exists, that is completely fine. There's no contradiction for that.
Okay.
Unless you're going under the worldview that everything that can exist and must exist needs explanatory power for why it exists, even though the option that I just introduced to you is completely parsimonious.
No. So essentially, I'm just gonna ask you this question. It's gonna be another leading question because I want to build off of this.
Don't repeat
Right?
what you just said
All
originally,
I
bro.
want
Do
to
you have
know is,
autism?
all I want to know is, bro, I just let you talk. I just let you talk.
Okay, I'm just
Just calm
asking you for a
down.
favor.
It's
Just please don't
fine.
repeat
Listen,
yourself. Just don't repeat yourself.
I'm not fighting you. I'm not having a battle with you. It's fine. Let me talk, okay? It's either going to be the case that, let's say we have X, right? Did X come from, and X is a brute fact, did X come from something or nothing? It's binary. Which one?
No, okay, that's okay. I get what you're trying to do. You're trying to propose a dichotomy, right? An either or situation, and then you're trying to make me go with the either or this disjunction, right? Now, the issue that you're presenting right now is that those two options, one obviously requires or has some sort of explanatory power, and then the other option, which is the other option that you introduced, which is nothing, obviously something cannot be derived from that. Those two things. And this is not a binary situation that you're like trying to propose, right? I obviously propose another alternative, so it's just not the case. Those two things are not analogous to what I just told you.
Okay, so what you just told me, Sonic, is that this thing has no explanatory power. That's what a brute fact is. A brute fact is something that has no explanation, no explanation for why it exists, right? That's what a brute fact is going to be. And I already told you that a cause is going to be synonymous with an explanation for why it exists. And so if you say that it has no explanation for why it exists, no explanation equals no cause. If it has no cause,
wait, hold up.
Wait, hold on,
Okay, whatever,
Sonic. I want to finish. If it
Okay.
has no cause for why it exists, right, it's either going to be something that's like, I don't know, what would the word be? Purely actual, as in actus purus, as in there's no prior like causal antecedent, or right, there is going to be a causal antecedent. It's just going to be nothing, right? It's
well, okay, wait, stop. Okay, stop chatting. Stop chatting. So no, the reason I don't agree to your binary that you're trying to propose is that with the binary that you're trying to propose, both provide an explanatory reason. Now, when it comes to a brute fact, it just exists, right? It just exists. There is no need, or there is no explanatory power for why it exists. Literally, the definition of brute fact. So no, I don't think that brute fact analogy or that situation falls into the either or situation because both provide explanatory power, even though one appears to be somewhat contradictory, right? So I don't think it's analogous to what I just said. Now, let's not derail a bit too hard here. With the thing that you just brought up, which is that everything that exists needs a reason for its existence, that is a very hardcore premise, right? You do realize it's literally a deduction, right? It means everything that exists in existence needs some explanation for its existence. So I would like to know the rationale for why everything that exists needs explanation for existence, because there does appear to be actual theories and ideas that actually do contradict that notion, right? And an example I can give you is radioactive decay.
Yeah, pools, right? So first and foremost, radioactive decay. You're gonna have to like expand on that. I don't know why people tend to bring up quantum mechanics and other such things and just like bring it up and say, "Yeah, I got this." Like, you need to actually explain what the study is.
Yeah.
But aside, wait, hold on. You made 2 points. You made 2 points. Aside from that, I never once said that everything that exists needs like.
That's the conclusion. Wait. Oh my God! You don't realize the underlying issue here. Wait, no, I'm just gonna talk about. I'm just gonna talk about one thing. I'm just gonna say one thing. The underlying issue here. Wait, see, the underlying issue here is that your argument is a deduction. It means the conclusion necessarily follows. The conclusion only necessarily follows if the precedent is the case. What you're refining is an induction. That's not the Aristotelian argument for God.
I'm not gonna let you talk over me. So, if you do that shit again, where you just spurg over me, this debate's not gonna happen. So, the entire point of saying nothing cannot cause something to exist implies that this thing did not exist at one point in time and then exists at another point in time, right? I'm not saying that, thus, everything that exists needs a reasonable explanation for its existence. This is obviously going to be contrary to my position because then God
could you repeat that? Could you repeat that? You talked a little bit too fast.
I'll explain again.
No, just repeat what you just said.
Yeah, exactly. So essentially what I'm saying is I'm not saying that everything that exists needs a reason for its existence. When I say that nothing is the absence of an explanation, if I say nothing happened, right, there's nothing there that happened, right? Nothing is the absence of all explanations. You can't try to twist it and say, well, nothing is actually an explanation. I said before, nothing has no property, so nothing cannot serve as an explanation, right? There has no defining characteristics. And so when I say that nothing cannot cause something to exist, that simply implies, right, that if nothing is, or X is caused by nothing, X did not exist at one point and then existed at another point in time. Okay? So then, if that's the case, right, this does not apply to things that have existed throughout all points in time. It would only apply to things that are contingent or dependent on something else, right? Which I'm assuming is what you're saying because you're trying to apply to the universe is going to be this brute fact. However, the universe has not always existed. And so thus it would have to suffice in my explanation. And so no, I'm not saying that everything that needs to exist requires a cause. Because God exists. And I'm saying God does not have a cause. So no.
Oh wait, okay, you're strawmanning me. You're strawmanning me. So when I said everything that exists, which is the premise that this argument underlines here, requires a explanation, I'm stating that's a definitive claim in reference towards the universe. Now, I was not stating this would be inclusive of who you're defining to be the actual actualizer, right? So that's the strawman on your end. The second thing that I want to reference, wait, give me a second, is that with the two situations that you just brought up, right? The situation you brought up is that something can arise from nothing. I'm telling you right now, this is a contradiction. Nothing is categorically defined as something that's being absent of properties. It has no properties whatsoever. So nothing can arise from that, right? And with the other thing that you brought up, which is the idea that the other thing that you brought up, which is the idea that something has some sort of explanatory power, as in if there is C, it presupposes the existence of S, as in S is going to be the reason for why exactly it exists and the precedent, right? And can have a relationship in this context, right? All I'm simply going to tell you right now is that I just proposed the alternative of brute fact. A brute fact means has no explanatory power for its existence. You're not providing me a contradiction. You're just going on. Okay, you're not providing me a contradiction. You're just simply telling me that something cannot arise from nothing. But that's not gonna be what a brute fact is. Which is why I'm telling you, you're conflating the two. You're conflating the two.
Okay, so I think the first point that you made was just saying that you're not saying. Hold on.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure. Go ahead. I mean, I wasn't done, but go ahead.
Yeah, you paused, so that would be like a cue.
Yeah, because
you can just hold that thought, write it down, and then you can repeat it in the next, like, when it's next your turn. If you're saying everything in regards to universe, yes. When I say that,
can I pause you right now?
Hello.
Sorry, I have a quick question just to kind of catch up. I just have one quick question for you, just to confirm. So I'm just like tracking everything and whatnot. Are you trying to like conflate like brute contingencies or brute existences with like nothingness, just to confirm?
No.
Wait. I'll explain what I mean when I say that conflation. So the binary question that you proposed is that either something is going to have some sort of explanatory power. I'm not explanatory power. That's what I think to say. Something's going to have some sort of precedent for why exactly it exists, and then the other thing that you propose is that something can arise from nothing. I told you with the second option, the latter is obviously going to be a contradiction because nothing cannot arise from nothing. Right? It's logically impossible. But with the analogy that I just brought up right now, which is that it just exists, you have to provide some sort of contradiction. You're not providing me a contradiction. You're just trying to conflate a brute fact with something arising from nothing, and then trying to use that in order to argue against my argument. But in this context, that's not analogous to my argument whatsoever, which is why I'm telling you it's disanalogous, right?
Okay, so like I have a question quickly, bro. When you say explanatory power, is that going to be synonymous with the word explanation?
Okay, so yeah. So it's yeah. It's synonymous with the word explanation. But you want me to further clarify?
No. So when you say a brute fact has no explanatory power, you simply mean it has no explanation for its existence?
Yeah, a brute fact has no explanatory power, no explanation for its existence. It just does.
Okay. Let me think if I need to respond to anything else. What were the other arguments you brought up? I don't think I need to talk about this anymore.
Wait, hold up. Do you feel as if you responded to everything I said?
Not everything, because you made 3 points, and then Wex interrupted me after the first bit, so I'm not quite sure what you said after.
I said it multiple times. Okay, well, do you not realize the fundamental issue with the argument, and that you're literally conflating something arises from nothing, which is a brute fact, which is that this thing just exists. It just does.
So has it always existed?
The answer to its existence, as in me stating it's eternal, is going to provide some explanatory power for why it exists. So I'm not going to answer that question. I just simply told you that there's no explanatory power for why exactly it exists. This is an alternative. You have to provide the actual contradiction or issue with this alternative. Your attempt at doing so is providing me a binary situation, but this binary, obviously with the nothingness, right, which is, I'm assuming the former analogy that you gave, is going to be a conflation with what a brute fact is. So I'm telling you, you're conflating the two, and this is not analogous.
Okay, so I think I'm understanding your position a little bit more now. Unfortunately,
I think man.
Yeah,
Queen Elizabeth will be proud.
This is a bit worse, so you're in a worse position than what you were in before. And I think you're trying to say that this brute fact exists because it exists. And when I try to ask any questions for,
Wait, okay, can we not say affirm that? You're strawmanning me again.
Wait,
I
hold on.
did not
Wait,
affirm this to be
hold on,
definitively the case,
hold
okay?
on, wait.
Let's
I
not
know
get
what
that
you
twisted.
mean.
I said this is an alternative.
I understand. Sorry, I apologize. So you're trying to say that this thing is possible. I'm saying, okay. And then I'm trying to get more information on the qualities of this possibility. And you're just saying, well, I'm not going to answer that question. So for me, what it sounds like is what it sounds like is that we're entering this viciously circular cycle in which you say, this
Okay,
thing
you're retarded. Let's conclude. I'm sorry.
Hold on. Let me finish. But you say, this thing exists. And then I say, why? And you say, because it exists. And then I say, why? And then you say, because it exists. And this is viciously circular. Arguments are logically fallacious.
No. All you're demonstrating is an epistemic constraint within your own understanding, right? The epistemic constraint in this context is going to be that you cannot grasp anything just existing without any explanatory power for why exactly it exists. That's not going to be a situation where the argument in and of itself is fallacious.
Wait,
if you're trying to say the debate is going ad nauseum, you can say that. I'll repeat it. The issue with what you're proposing right now is that you're just providing some sort of epistemic constraint within your own mind, which is that you have an inability to understand something just existing just because, right? I already told you it's completely parsimonious. This is an alternative, right? And you have yet to defeat it. So no, it's not actually going to be a circular fallacious argument because there is no actual inherent issue with it, which is why I'm asking to provide one because I don't see one at least. It's just an alternative, right? And it defeats the conclusion that an actual actualizer or something that's going to be some uncaused identical being who's going to be the actual actualizer in context is necessary, does have to necessarily follow.
Yeah, so you keep affirming that this thing is an alternative. You keep affirming that this thing is, a contrary explanation. So we don't need my argument, and that's what's in question. Whether it is an alternative, I'm trying to see whether this thing is possible. Obviously, if it's impossible.
Wait, do you want to explain it to see?
Yeah. I got it. All right. See, he's saying that.
I understand.
Actually, it's cool. It's cool. Let him be dumb. Let him be done. Okay, yeah. So the reason the reason this could be the case, or the reason this could be an alternative.
I wasn't even done.
Wait, no, you just asked me a question. Was that a rhetorical question or an actual question?
Any question?
You said I don't see it.
No.
Okay, go ahead.
Like what?
Go ahead.
Anyways. Yeah, I'm going to. So essentially, you keep asserting that this thing is possible. I already demonstrated a logical issue of your argument, right? In which if this thing comes into existence, right, such as the universe, because keep in mind, you brought this up as saying, this doesn't have to prove the universe, has a cause. The universe could just be a brute fact. And we know, once again, the universe is not a brute fact because the universe came into existence.
I never said it came in. Wait, hold up. Wait, you're shotgunning me. You're shotgunning me.
No, I didn't.
You just made a cosmological argument. You just made a cosmological argument.
Can we have moderation?
I can moderate.
Yeah,
okay, wait, truth. He just made two claims. He just made two claims.
No. Wait.
Okay, continue.
Yeah. So first and foremost, I'm not gonna have you lecture me on making two claims. You've made 3 claims that I've responded to in jest. So I'm not gonna.
You've been shotgunning me too. You've been shotgunning me too, but whatever.
You brought this up in context to the universe, which is why I've been acting as if you're saying that the universe simply came from nothing, because the universe is not infinite, it's not eternal, and had a beginning.
Brody, I never
points towards this. So if you're talking about a brute fact that does not have a beginning, right? Because it's either you have a beginning or you don't have a beginning. If it has a beginning, then obviously it's going to be a contradiction because it's beginning from nothing. It's coming from nothing. If it does not have a beginning, anyways, if it does not have a beginning,
I've already answered this.
If it does not have a beginning, as in it has always existed, it's never came into existence, right? And it just always exists. I don't see, it's either going to be that it has no potentiality, in which case it's going to be synonymous with actus purus. And if it's synonymous with actus purus, then my position is fulfilled once again. Or if it does have potentiality, then it depends on something else to exist, counterfactually. But go ahead and respond.
Okay, so you did make 2 claims, you fucking, what the fuck? Okay.
Never denied that.
Okay, yeah, so, what was it? So one claim that you made, okay, you made a cosmological argument. You made the cosmological argument, which is that the universe comes from something, or that's just the case, right? We know this for a fact. I don't know that. So I like for you to get onto that later. But just to address the major argument at hand, though, again, you're still conflating the two, right? And I already told you something coming from nothing is a contradiction. That's logically impossible. Now, with the former, all things that exist or all things that have existence require some explanatory power, as it is going to be a precedent with some sort of relationship with it, right? Which is the point of causality. Again, that's one alternative, but we and you have already acknowledged this to be the case, that in the context of the universe is going to be the concurrent of changes that are going to presuppose S in this context is going to be the explanation for this change, right? For example, I punch your mom, or actually, let me not say it. That's kind of troll. For example, I don't fucking know. You went to school. How do you go to school? Oh yeah, you took a vehicle there, right? That's going to be some explanatory power or some cause for why exactly you've reached this said destination, right? That's the point of causality, right? Now, in context of what I just said, I'm just stating it just exists. You keep on adding explanatory power to it. You keep on saying over and over again, so you're just saying it come from nothing? Okay, wait, you're adding explanatory power there. Not only that, it's just fucking contradictory. And then two, you're saying, it could have some precedent, right? That's adding explanatory power. You're not providing any sort of fundamental issue with the idea of a brute fact just existing. You just keep conflating it with your fucking with your alternatives, right?
Okay, so for the first argument, you basically just said the universe comes from something. I don't know that. Why does that have to be the case? Obviously, the universe is going to be defined as space, time, and matter. In terms of the second laws of thermodynamics, which just states that the universe gains entropy over time. That's the trend. If the universe has always existed, right, then we would most surely be in a state of chaos or entropic, like highs or peaks right now. There is no total disorder.
God.
So it would be the case that, the universe has come from something.
You're a dumb.
In terms of conflating the two, yeah. So obviously, if you're using in context of the universe, which I thought, and I made the claim that came from something which you didn't respond to initially, and now you're responding to now. Obviously, I'm going to be acting as if you're talking about a brute fact that has no. Wait, hold, bro.
Okay, go ahead. My bad.
That, just comes into existence and has no explanation or explanatory power. In that case, we both agree that it's contradictory. I already asserted or affirmed this dichotomy, whether it can come into existence or not come into existence. If it does not come into existence, then it's always existed. And I already said that if it's always existed, then I don't see why this thing cannot be synonymous or identical to actus purus, because it's either that it's actus purus, it has no potentialities that need to be actualized, or it is not actus purus, so it has potentialities that need to be actualized. Even if it has existed for all of time, even if it has never come into existence, I already told you a hierarchical causal chain does not require temporality, right? This chain can still exist atemporally, right? So even then, this potentiality, right? This potentiality still needs to be actualized by an actualizer. And this actualizer.
God, you just keep repeating what's already in question, bro. You're begging the question.
This temporality is going to be actualized by an actualizer. And this actualizer is going to be the actus purus. Otherwise, you cannot explain.
Okay. Nice synonym for the word actualizer. I don't know why you keep saying that. Try to fancy or something. So yeah, again. Okay, so you made the cosmological argument. You just kept on trying to make the claim that we understand to have entropy. Obviously, acknowledge entropy, which is the progression of things over time or whatever the fuck, right? I understand entropy, right, and these laws, right? Again, these don't conflate with the idea of the existence of the universe as being a brute fact. All you keep on doing is keep providing me sort of binary, right? And I'm not even affirming that I'm saying this is alternative, right? But all you keep on doing is providing me sort of binary, right? You keep on saying it's either or, it's either or. It's either the case that the universe came from some sort of actual actualizer, even though we are establishing the actual intrinsic relationship between these two things, or it's either the case that the universe itself comes from some type of cause or whatever, right? And this cause itself would obviously have another cause, which obviously is the infinite regress, which is denying because you're trying to argue that the core foundation for things that exist in the context of the universe needs some sort of explanatory power as in sort of actual actualizer. You aren't really providing me any sort of intrinsic explanation for why or the relationship between this actual actualizer and the universe's context, nor are you really defeating the argument. You just keep conflating it with the binary or the situations that you provided at hand, right? Which is either the idea of some type of cause or explanation, which is what you're rejecting because it leads to infinite regress, or the idea of some actual actualizer is going to be uncaused and agential in this context. So you're not actually refuting my argument. You just keep fucking chatting.
Okay, yeah, I'll say this one more time. We can just move into conclusions. What's it called? Yeah, so once again, right, these binaries that I'm asserting or that I'm affirming are just going to be logical binaries, right? So obviously,
I
say
that's not what that.
Where no,
I'm not. Okay, bro.
no. This is literally my
Bro, you
final.
just keep chatting, bro. You
Yeah,
just keep
okay, that's
chatting,
fine.
bro. But you
This is
keep
my final.
repeating yourself.
Yeah,
I never denied
but
it to be logical. I never said there was a contradiction.
Sonic. Hello? Why are you so stressed? Why do you want to prevent me from getting out an argument? Are you afraid that I'm going to defeat what you just said again?
No, I'm annoyed if you're
Okay,
repeating
then.
yourself. But
So
if you said you're repeating
fully,
yourself, let's
okay,
just conclude right now.
If you're fully confident, right, then let me finish my argument and then we can conclude. What's the issue? You made a point. Let me respond to it. That's how debate works.
Yourself, bro. This
Okay,
is
then, Sonic.
but okay.
So anyways, all of these binaries I'm asserting are justified. Something can either come from something or come from nothing. That's justified. Now, obviously, I already affirmed the issue of something coming from nothing, which you agreed to. You said nothing cannot cause anything. And so thus, nothing cannot begin to, or something cannot begin to exist from nothing, which means that we have to assert the alternative, which means that this brute fact has always existed. Now, something can either have potentiality or not.
That's not what a brute fact is. Okay, that's contradiction.
Wait, hold on.
That's literally an analytic contradiction.
Hold on. A brute fact is just going to be something that is distinct from a brute contingency. And a brute fact is something that has...
What you just said is an analytic contradiction.
Hold on. A brute fact is going to be something that has no... I don't know why you keep cutting... You make claims and you cut me off after the first claim. You can explain why it's an... Wait, hold on. You can explain why it's an analytical contradiction afterwards. And if I keep repeating myself, why didn't you bring this up before? It's like you're making new arguments. But anyway, what I was saying was, we have to affirm the alternative. If a brute fact cannot begin to exist, then it has to have always existed. If a brute fact always exists, then it's either going to be the case that it has potentiality or it doesn't have potentiality, right? This is going to either be the case. Either or, right? Once again. If it has potentiality,
that's not true.
Anyways,
I'll
dismiss that again. If it has potentiality, then I already explained the issues with a brute fact having potentiality and then serving as the first member of this hierarchical causal series. I already explained to you why a hierarchical causal series is going to be distinct from a linear causal series. You keep bringing up an infinite regress. I'm saying, okay, that's completely fine. Like, okay, we can have an infinite regress. That's okay.
I'm just saying something grounds this, right? Which is what you're referring to as God.
Hold on. I'm saying that even if we look at this infinite regress where something causes something else, causes something else, causes something else, causes something else, causes something else. If we look at every single member of this set, and all of them contain potentiality, we're going to have a contradiction because there is no justification for why all of these things exist simultaneously. Okay? I think you probably brought up other points, but
I clarified what I meant by infinite regress. I don't know why you keep saying that. I don't know why you keep addressing the hyperliteral denotation of the word. I just told you that an infinite... okay. Wait, no, because you made... What was it again? Oh, yeah. I was saying you made an analytic contradiction. So in context to the binary situation you just provided, which I'm saying it's an analytic contradiction, is that with the binary situation that I just provided, you said that it's either the case, and correct me if I'm wrong, Wex, but you said that's either the case that something comes from something or something comes from nothing, right? But something coming from nothing provides some type of explanatory power for why that is the case, which literally goes against the direct meaning of a brute fact, which is that it just exists. No explanatory power for why it exists. Now, something coming from something, but no explanatory power for why something comes from something, like why it comes from that said thing, right? So in the sense that it's just like some brute contingent fact. It's gonna be like a situation at hand, like, I just take a random shirt from my drawer and I wear it. Right, that's gonna be a brute contingent fact, right? It's something that's contingent, but there's no particular reason for why I did that said thing. There's no particular explanatory power for why that said thing occurred. Now again, and this is why I'm saying you're conflating the two very blatantly. You keep saying that a brute fact is either or. You keep providing this structure. It's either going to be the case that it comes from something, which again leads to an infinite regress, or you're stating that something could, ground these things, right? That's cool and all, or that it comes from nothing, which obviously is a contradiction that cannot occur. But both those two things provide explanatory power. They are not analogous, or they are not synonymous with what a brute fact is, which is that there's no explanatory power for why it exists. It's a complete and perfect alternative. You have not explained the contradiction or issue with that. You just keep saying it has to fall under these two situations. Nice presupposition, I guess.
Okay, yeah. I think the only 2 points, because I'm not going back to this whole fucking brute fact thing. I think I already responded.
Wait. Okay, yeah, sure, we can go to conclusions right now. So
the thing I want to talk about now, we could talk about the epistemic point and then the universe, quote unquote. Actually, if you're not talking about... Wait, hold on. Oh, wait,
can I...
talk about the universe?
I gotta go.
Yeah.
Go
So
Nintendo.
yeah, we can send you the rec. That's fine. So
No, wait, no. I want the judge in here.
no, because I need to respond to these 2 points. If I'm not able to, then the judgment's going to be incomplete. I don't think that's fair.
Okay.
Okay, so we can talk about now the universe having a beginning and the epistemic point. Pretty simply. I think the epistemic point is more fundamental. If I think I win that, I'm not going to talk about the universe having a beginning or not. Simply put, right, in the epistemic point, the way I see it is the difference between an opinion and a claim and an argument and justifier is going to be like epistemic justification. So if I say, for example, Sxnic is a good debater, right? That's going to be the claim, obviously. Then if I ask you why, you're going to say, oh yeah, he's a good debater because, I don't know, he has good rhetoric, he has good knowledge, etc., all of these things, right? Now, if you ask me why Sxnic's a good debater, and then I say, oh, because he's a good debater, right? That's going to be viciously circular, as in you're not actually justifying your claim, you're just repeating the claim, right? It's not going to actually prove the point. So I'm asking you to justify the possibility of a brute fact, and then you're saying, well, a brute fact can exist, because a brute fact can actually exist, right? That's not going to be any sort of justifier. There's no justification you presented towards your position.
I don't.
Not even that is, and I think it's actually really bad that you are affirming this thing because you can't even point towards it being possible because that's also going to be some explanation.
Well, I already did.
So it exists because it's possible. Isn't that an explanation?
Wait, no. Do you want me to answer your fucking question, or do you want to keep chatting?
Bro. I mean, you paused. Well, go ahead.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So the thing that I literally answered was that wait, what was it? You said. Oh yeah, you said you didn't explain why it's possible. A brute fact. What do you say then? Could you just repeat the sentence? Just repeat the sentence.
So I said that.
Please don't go on a tangent. Just repeat the sentence.
Yeah. I'll keep it concise. So essentially, all I said was that. Do you want me to repeat the argument as well as the additional thing as well? Like, would you?
No. The argument was that you just pretty much stated that if when it comes to these epistemic things or epistemic justification, I just believe an epistemic justification is going to be something that has some sort of explanatory power for why it is the case.
Okay. That's
I understand that you're saying that's completely distinct from just a claim.
Yeah. But do you want me to explain the other point as well?
No. Could you repeat the sentence that you just said that I asked you to repeat?
For example, right? What I was talking about was even I said I think it's pretty sad that you're trying to affirm this now, because even by saying it's logically possible, as in it's non-contradictory, you're thus giving an explanation as to why it can exist. And I think that's pretty sad.
You think it's sad for me to make the claim that something can exist but no explanatory power for why it exists?
I mean, you're saying it can exist, and then you're saying that
wait, are you contending it being like it like can logically occur?
No. I don't know what you mean.
You're just saying it's not an epistemic justification. Are you just saying it's not epistemic justification?
What I'm saying is by affirming that something can exist without any explanatory power, it's self-defeating. Because if you're saying that it can exist, that involves some form of possibility. So you're saying it can exist, thus it's possible, and that would be an explanation for why it can exist. Yet it has no explanation for why it can exist. Self-contradictory, self-defeating, rubbish, garbage. Throw it away.
Okay, that's a new argument. Okay. So when it comes to possible worlds are just going to be things that can be conditionalized based off the fact that they are logically possible. Now, when I said the word it can, I just simply meant this is an alternative, right? Because obviously in the context of this thing is specific, we just don't really know about it. That's not really a contradiction, because when it comes to these possible worlds, wait, hold up. Actually, I'll just go ahead and put it this way. Let me just go ahead and get definitions for you.
What's the I just want to say by affirming that it's an alternative, you're affirming it's possible, because you can't say something's an alternative if it's not possible. Like, for example, if I say,
wait, no, I get what you're saying. Let me just get this out for you real quick.
What's the debate?
It's God's existence, but we haven't really talked about God. We just talked about who's talking?
Paradox.
Which paradox? The British one?
Yeah.
Oh, what's up, Paradox, bro?
Have you finally stopped debating in Celestia? No, that's dead.
Celestia?
I still got merged, brother. Hold up.
Yeah.
See, swear.
Shit's dead, bro.
That's crazy.
Astroworld is where it's at in Skype here. Make sure to join those 2 servers. And this server as well, I guess.
Astroworld.
Huh?
They brought back Astroworld.
Am I brought by Astroworld?
Did they bring back Astroworld?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so wait, what I was just saying was that it's not actually a contradiction. So in context of something being possible, a possibility is just going to be some world where this thing can occur. So in context of something like a brute fact, it just being it just being some alternative, as in something we can acknowledge can be the case. It's not really going to be a contradiction in the sense to why exactly it exists, because we do know that a brute fact and what's assigned is that it has no explanatory power for why it exists. Now, in context, it possibly, or it can be the case, right? In context to that, that's not a fucking contradiction, because you just simply making the claim that this thing is logically possible and there's no inherent issue with it is indifferent than me making the claim that there is something and we do have some sort of explanatory power for why exactly it exists, or we do have explanatory power for why this thing could be the case, as in this thing, or this argument can follow, or this thing can lead credence to this idea. So those two things are very distinct. So simply acknowledging the world of a brute fact, is not a contradiction, because us acknowledging that world does not provide any explanatory power for why this thing can exist.
Okay, so essentially, okay, when we say explanatory power, we're just talking about a reason for as to why something can exist, Sxnic. So, or why something exists, Sxnic. So, if I say that, oh yeah, well, why does this car exist, right? I'll say maybe because a mechanic in a garage person made it, right? Obviously, if we're talking about what's it called, a brute fact, and you're trying to affirm that there is absolutely zero explanatory powers, in my opinion, like it's not needed, but if that's what you're trying to affirm,
why it exists, for why it exists in specific, for why it exists in specific.
Why it exists in specific?
Okay, so yeah, so I'll just give you an analogy, right?
I think you're kind of hedging your claim now, but
I'm not. How am I hedging? How am I hedging?
You went from saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, you went from saying that there is no explanatory power at all, because I remember I asked you,
no, for why it exists in and of itself.
Hold on.
Oh, okay.
You went from saying there's no explanatory power at all, right? And then you're now saying that there's no explanatory power for why it specifically exists.
No, you're strawmanning me. Okay, I've been keeping this narrative consistent throughout the whole entire debate. You can ask people in the VC as well. I specifically said that you can ask people in the VC as well. I specifically said that something, right, that exists, does something that exists as in a brute fact that is in the sense that it does not require any sort of explanatory power for why it exists. There's an analogy, right? There's a thing I'm stating. Now that's indifferent to me saying that this we can acknowledge, or this alternative can be the case, but there's no explanatory power for why it specifically exists, right?
Yeah, okay. But Sxnic, you do
so I'm not contradicting any claim that I initially made. There's not an issue with that. It's still a brute fact. That's not a contradiction. How is that a contradiction?
I'll explain. So you do realize that when we are analyzing like possibility, right? And when we're analyzing things that can exist and cannot exist, we look at the essence of that thing. So, for example, wait, hold on.
Oh, okay.
You can't just say no for the claim.
No, my bad. I think that was a poor explanation. Okay. How would just say something can exist? How would you say something can exist? As long as it's conformed to the laws of logic. As long as it's conformed to the laws of logic.
So that's not going to be a contradiction with what I just said. It's the same thing. In order for us to evaluate whether something conforms to the laws of in order for us to evaluate whether something conforms to or aligns with the laws of logic, we are going to have to look at the essence of that object. So, for example, if there is a square circle, the square circle is going to have a contradictory essence. Its essence is going to be contradictory, and since it's contradictory, it cannot exist. So, in order for us to look at why a brute fact can exist, we have to look at the essence of a brute fact, which is going to be exclusive to and intrinsic to the brute fact in of itself. So, by affirming that it is an alternative, and by affirming it is a possibility, you are thus affirming that this brute fact specifically can exist, which is explanatory power.
Wait, oh my God. Okay, wait, hold up. Okay. So there's something in which I'm saying you're very confused about my argument. So explanatory power in the sense that this thing is a possible alternative. That's not really even explanatory power towards the thing in specific. That's just simply affirming that this thing is not logically contradictory. Therefore, there can be some world we can acknowledge this. That's indifferent to the claim that I made, which is why I'm saying you're strawmanning me. The claim that I just simply made was that in reference to this brute fact, there could be some alternative word. Again, this coincides with a possible world. This is not a contradiction. There could be some world where we can acknowledge this, where this thing in specific has no explanatory power for why it exists, right? For example, we do this all the time. Someone could just simply say, oh yeah, so why exactly do you think he stole from the clerk? Just a hunch. I don't really have I don't have any reason, right? There's no contradiction with it. right? At least as far as we can observe, there's no contradiction with this, so it's logically possible. But that thing in specific does not have any explanatory power for why it exists. That's not me hedging, because I've said consistently throughout the whole entire fucking debate since the beginning, there could be some alternative road or some possible road where this thing in specific has no explanatory power for why it exists. So no, I'm not hedging anything. You're just making bullshit up. Is it me denying it being possible?
Yeah, that's fine. So I don't think I have to respond to anything new that you said about the possible point. I'll just respond to the analogy, because I think I might have to. Obviously, analogies are used to lend credence to an idea and explain why they are reasonable or intuitive. If you're going to use the analogy and say, oh, why do you think you stole? Just a hunch. Obviously, there might not be a reason that you can like bring forth and invoke at that moment in time. But psychologically, there's going to be a reason. Like if I look at someone that's walking down the street dressed in all black with a mask, and like they're really tall and really muscular, and you ask me, why'd you cross the road? I might just be like, I don't know. But psychologically, it might be because I have an aversion to people that appear this way. But we can move on to the universe point.
See, you're contesting the wrong thing. The thing that you're contesting is this road world example. The thing that you're not contesting is the underlying point that I'm trying to provide to you, which is that this thing does conform to the laws of logic, and this thing has no this thing does conform to the laws of logic, and this thing can be an alternative. This thing can't possibly occur, and there being no explanatory power for why this thing in specific exists. That was the underlying point of my analogy. You telling me the schematics, which is the idea that there's some psychological thing that must play a factor, etc., does not defeat the point, right? It doesn't do anything. So you're not actually arguing, or not actually giving any reason for why I'm hedging. You're just saying I'm hedging when I've been keeping this consistent narrative that I'm obviously affirming this thing is possible, this thing can occur, but there is no fundamental issue for why this thing in specific. There's no explanatory power for why this thing in specific exists. You're not actually, you're not actually defeating my argument.
Yeah, no. The reason as to why I didn't, respond at this point at my turn is because I think I've already responded. I'll repeat it.
We can conclude.
I'll repeat it one more time.
Wait, no, I don't want to hear repetition. Well, I don't want to hear repetition. Let's conclude.
Okay, that's fine. Do you want to talk about the universe point? I wanted to say one more thing about the universe, and then we can definitely conclude on the whole thing.
You just told me you just told me there's entropy, as in there's some randomness that's always occurring within the universe. It's not a contradiction to my point.
Yeah, I'll just say as well. The universe. So you agree the universe expands, right?
Sure. How does this contradict the alternative?
The universe has potential to expand.
Yes. How does this contradict the alternative?
Okay, that's fine then. As long as you agree that it has potentiality, that's fine. We can conclude.
Yo, Wex, can you mic up?
No, I want to conclude. I don't think Wex understood the whole thing. I think this was a very long debate. He would probably benefit from conclusion.
Because you stretch out debates for no reason, because you're kind of autistic.
That's the claim. You want to conclude? Would you like to conclude, Sonic? Hello.
Wait, hold up. I'm trying to call the judge so we don't just chat to ourselves.
But wait, he wasn't even here? What do you mean? I see him typing in chat.
Oh yeah, I don't think he could talk right now.
Yeah, I like to conclude before he gives out any judgments.
Do
you want to just conclude since he's here? Like, I don't. What's going on?
Okay, yeah, sure. Go ahead and conclude first.
Okay, so you can give verdicts after you hear the conclusion. So essentially, the argument started off like this: change exists. X, Y, Z.
Oh wait, hold up, wait. Actually, no, I didn't even do that. I already said it earlier in the debate, but I'll just repeat it. It's cool.
All right then. So essentially, I presented the typical Aristotelian argument as presented by Edward Fraser. His contentions towards this was just the idea of a brute fact. A brute fact is simply just going to be something that has no explanation for why it exists. So my first approach to defeat this absurd argument was just to say, well, an explanation is going to be synonymous with a cause. And so if you're trying to use this in context to the universe, because that was originally the context to why he brought up brute facts, that would make sense because the universe has a cause. He then tried to say I was conflating the terms X, Y, Z. Then I realized, oh wait, he's not just saying about the universe. He's just affirming this thing as an alternative thing that can ground all other things. I'm like,
that was the universe in specific.
So then I'm like, okay, that's fine. So a brute fact, right? If it comes into existence, keep in mind, this was the whole point. If a brute fact comes into existence, it's not really a brute fact, it's a brute contingency, but let's just say, if a brute fact comes into existence, it's either going to come from something or come from nothing, right? I said this is a binary thing. It's either going to come from something or come from nothing. If it comes from something, then it's not going to be a brute fact because it has an explanation. If it comes from nothing, it's logically contradictory. So I already dismissed and I think wholeheartedly defeated the existence of something beginning to exist and still being brute. I think that's silly, retarded. I then said, okay, that's cool. We can talk about the possibility of a brute fact existing that has always existed because that's the only alternative that still aligns with the laws of logic. I said, okay, if a brute fact has always existed, right, and it has potentiality, because I said, once again, this is another binary. It can either have potentiality or not have potentiality. If it has potentiality, as in the brute fact has potentials that need to be actualized, then we fall into the same issue. If it does not have any potentiality, it is going to be identical to actus purus. And thus my position is going to be fulfilled because all I'm arguing is that actus purus exists. That's the conclusion. There's a purely actual actualizer, actus purus, the pure act. I don't think he contended these points. He just kept on repeating that and conflating the two terms and that his explanation needed no explanatory power. I then moved on to the epistemic point. The epistemic point was just the idea that, you're not really justifying your position. If I say D1's a good debater, right? And I say D1's a good debater because, he's smart, he's, a good rhetorician, he's a good argumenter, or a good orator, or a good interlocutor, whatever you want to call it, bro. That's explanation. If you're just saying D1's a good debater because he's a good debater, you haven't really explained why he's a good debater. You're just repeating the claim. So you're not really justifying why this thing exists. I then wanted to say that this is viciously circular. And then I followed up with saying that since it's a viciously circular, logically fallacious. And then I said that even if you want to affirm that this thing is possible, that's still going to be explanatory power. If I say X is possible, right? That's explaining why X can exist. He then said that X is not going to be, or possibility is not going to be a reason why this thing exclusively exists, but it's the reason for why it can exist. I said, when we look at or evaluate something existing in some possible worlds but not others, we evaluate the object's essence, right? So the object in of itself. And I brought up the square circle point. The object's essence as a brute fact, which is obviously going to be exclusive to brute facts, right? If the object's essence as a brute fact can exist, that's obviously going to be explanatory power to why the brute fact is an explanation, or not explanation, or why it can serve as explanation for the universe or whatever you want to call it. So I think he didn't really provide any good contention to that point either. And then also, I just affirmed that if the universe has potentials and potentiality that need to be actualized, which he agreed to, then once again, we fall into the same hierarchical causal chain. So I think I won this point, or I won the whole discussion, just based on the fact that he kept on conflating linear causal chains with hierarchical causal chains in the sense of progression and etc. etc. But go ahead.
Okay, so now he's randomly bringing up okay, yeah. So I mean, he says earlier too. I'll just contest it all in order. So the debate started off by me just simply stating that, and again, I said this several times, the Aristotelian argument in specific is literally a deduction. It means the conclusion has to necessarily follow, right? It's not an induction. I don't know why he kept us saying this is the case. My bad. Look, just to clarify, this is an deduction. This is not an induction, just to clarify. So you're going to see the relevance of what I said. So basically, to start off the debate, he made the point that when it comes to God in specific, God has to be the actual actualizer for the universe, as in God has to be the reason or some agential uncaused being for the existence of the universe in specific, which is just going to be a whole entire flow of change. And any change given within the universe is going to presuppose some sort of essence context, which is the reason, the precedent for why this thing in particular exists, right? I don't fucking know. Punching somebody causes them internal bleeding, right? That's gonna be a situation where that thing fits in specific. So I said in context to the universe itself, I said when it comes to the universe, it could just be the case that the universe is a brute fact. He kept on making conflations where he kept on specifically stating that anything that exists has to have a reason. So anything that exists has to either come from something or nothing. I told him the nothing analogy you presented is obviously just retarded because something arising from nothing is an inherent contradiction, right? Those two things categorically cannot follow one after the other. If nothing is the absence of all properties and something is the appearance of a property, that thing cannot come from nothing because it's literally logically impossible, right? It's contradictory. Now, in response to what he kept on trying to use to frame an argument, he said he provided this dichotomy. It's either or. I told him in specific, I don't believe it's either or. I don't believe this is an actual true dichotomy or this is an actual valid disjunction you're trying to provide. I said it could just be the case the universe is just a brute fact. It just exists, and there's no explanatory power for why exactly it exists. And I said this is completely parsimonious right? And obviously, if you get what that word means, it just means that it's a very simple option and it's backed up by things such as Occam's razor or the principle of simplicity. He never really contested that. All he simply kept on saying was that he's trying to provide some sort of binary where he believed it follows either or. When I provided obviously a third thing in this context, which means it's not going to be a true dichotomy. Then he tried making a new point, which he tried saying a brute fact existence is self-contradictory because a brute fact's existence, if it's possible that it can exist, is going to be explanatory power for why it exists. No, hello? Something being possibly the case is not an explanatory power for why that thing in specific can occur. I gave him the analogy that, let's say, for example, someone just randomly thinks someone stole from a store clerk. If someone randomly stole from a store clerk, and someone no, my bad, that was not the analogy. Let me just rephrase. Let me just say what I originally said. I said that, for example, if a store clerk got stolen from, and someone assumed was person X, and you ask them why, and they just say, I don't know, right? That's gonna be no explanatory power for why that thing in specific occurred, which is the whole entire underlying point of what I stated. But this thing is possible. There is no logical contradiction. At least there's no logical contradiction. Right? There's no actual logical contradiction with this being the case. At least as of that time, in perspective of the people, right? As I said, in context of the universe could just be a brute fact and it just exists, right? And me specifically stating this is possible, which is what I said throughout the whole entire debate. It's not me hedging, because me acknowledging it's possible is not giving explanatory power for why it exists. It's just simply stating this thing can occur, which is not explanatory power for why it exists. It's just something that can occur, right? And we do this all the time on a day-to-day basis. Always people just always introducing random possibilities that may not appear to be contradictory, even if there's not necessarily any indicators for why exactly that is the case. But at the end of the day, my argument was completely, or this alternative proposal was completely parsimonious and does about things such as Occam's razor, etc. So it defeats the whole entire point. So he never really defeated the fact this thing or this alternative was possible, which means that deduction does not necessarily follow. And yeah, pretty much it. He kind of just lost.
All right, bro. Good debate, man. I'll just
Wex, what's your verdict?